your 403b plan probably sucks. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why that is and how to fix the problem. So if this is your first time here, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. So for most people out there, if you are employed by like a school district, you probably have the 403b plan available to you. Now the reason why most of these 403b plans suck is because there are non-ERISA plans. So ERISA is basically a set of rules or laws that apply to most people's plans that basically says when an employer wants to offer a retirement benefit to an employee, it has to meet certain credentials. So for instance, it has to be a creditable investment advisor, and then the investment options in the plan can't be too large or too small, and they have to stay within a reasonable fee limit. So they can't have excessive fees attached to them. On top of that, you can't have annuities in these plans because they lock people's contributions up for a period of time. Now the CARES Act changed that a little bit, but for most part, that's really what ERISA law states. The 403b plans, at least in Washington State, in school districts, are non-ERISA plans. Every school district is in charge of offering an approved provider list. Now, this approved provider list, some people take it to mean that these companies have been vetted and appointed and approved by the school, so they all must be pretty good. But the fact is, Washington State law, as long as the company has 5 or more people interested in the plan, regardless of how good the company is or what the fees are, the school district has to open the payroll slot or allow that company to become a 403 provider in that school district. So that opens the door to these companies that maybe not be the best getting in there and offering these plans to school district employees. So because of this non-ERISA law, pretty much the school district has no responsibility or liability for that fact to vet these companies before coming into them, or to look at the fund investment lineup to make sure they're not excessive or anything like that. So because of that, the majority of the vendors that are approved in your school district are usually annuity companies. Not to say that they're bad or anything, but they typically have a surrender charge schedule attached to them. Basically what that means is if you open up an account or a 403b with one of those providers, you're going to be basically stuck with them for a period of time, anywhere from usually 6 to 10 years. So if you're putting money into that contract and decide, you know what, I'm going to retire in a couple of years, let me just take my money out, you can't do that without taking a penalty. You have to leave that money in there for that period of time. Or if you wanted to change to a different provider, same thing. You can't take the money out until you meet that surrender schedule period. Now, oftentimes, that surrender schedule period is on what they call a rolling basis or a rolling surrender schedule. So every time I put a contribution into the plan, it restarts that 6-year clock. So every single contribution has its own 6 or 10-year term attached to it. So you could have a 403b for 10 years, and at that 10-year time mark, only your first contribution is then liquid. Everything else has a penalty on it. So every 403b provider is a little bit different on how that works. So it's something you want to research if you were to go and use one of those TSAs or tax shelter annuity plans, right? So that's really the biggest downfall for most 403b plans. And if you look on YouTube or anywhere else really, and you see people trashing 403b plans, that's primarily the reason, is that they have these annuities disguised as 403b plans out there. You get stuck with these plans that have these long surrender charge attached to them. Investment lineups usually very slim, and oftentimes proprietary funds. So the only funds you can choose from are ones that annuity company provided, and it could either be a combination of funds that they make themselves, so they're going to charge you to be in that 403b plan itself, and then the fee you pay for that mutual fund or index fund or whatever it is, that fee also goes to that company. So that's pretty common as well. Or they have partner funds with kickbacks. So they allow other providers to come into the plan, but when you invest in that plan, maybe the fee's a little bit less, but a portion of it gets kicked back to that annuity company for letting them in to the 403b plan to start with. So it's something to be careful with and just be aware of with most of these 403b plans out there. Now that being said, there are some 403b plans that are actually very good. If you want to learn more about how to choose a really good 403b plan and what to look for before diving into one, check out these videos I did over here on that. I hope this video helps you guys out. I'll see you guys next week, and remember that your future depends on what you do today.